Welcome into Jags A.M. this Wednesday. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Oehser are with me as we get prepared for the home game against the Colts this week. We're going to talk about the Jaguars, what needs to change going into this week if they want to get their first win of the year. Let's start out with our big things. Big thing number one is psyche, as in what is the psyche of the team right now? Brian, we heard from Doug Peterson yesterday. He talked a lot about the mental and what they need to focus on and kind of getting in the right frame of mind with the team right now, because obviously a lot of negativity swirling around, but they need to focus on what they need to focus on right now, which is getting a win.
Listen, help is not on the way. It's got to come from within there, which means that these guys have to look inward. Each person individually. Doug mentioned he feels like an amateur psychologist. I'm sure you both do too when you're out talking to people and they're like, what is wrong with this team? I'm ready to burn my jersey or throw my tickets overboard. I mean, we have heard all these things in recent weeks, and the reality of it is that we've talked about this not being a resilient team, and the only way that you build any sort of resilience is to be honest with yourself. Here's who I am, what I'm not doing, what I should be doing. The psyche of this team needs to be fleshed out. That's what coaches do, right? But everybody, John, has to be their own coach and lead themselves through this period right now. It's tough. It's tough when you walk into the building in the morning and you know that the meeting isn't going to go well. It's tough when you walk out and you go through Publix and someone says, man, what's the matter with you guys right now? It's not going to get any easier. I'll leave with this. Winston Churchill once said, if you're going through hell, just keep going. Just get through it.
I've been going a long time.
Look, yeah, there's a lot of people that believe that.
We said 2 weeks ago the time for talk is over, and we're 2 weeks later, so the time for talk is really over. And that's why it's kind of tough to answer any of these questions. It's why it's tough when they stand on the podium and answer questions, because there's not much more to say. I said on Monday that it was now about pride. You don't want to be saying that after 4 weeks, because when you say it's all about pride, it means you're not talking about the playoffs. There's two P words. Pride's the one you not want to be using in October. But unfortunately, it's about pride. So psych right now is that. Can you figure out a way to make this matter enough to play as a team, to know that you've only been a play or two away and make those big plays? Can they do that? That's what we're going to be going to the game on Sunday to find out.
Our second big thing is going to be streaky. There's two streaks that are going to combine on Sunday. Teams lost 4 games in a row, but they've also beaten the Indianapolis Colts at home here in Jacksonville for over a decade. John, we talked about this last week when I was trying to figure out what the date was exactly, but it was September of 2014 the last time this team lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Does that mean anything this week, or is this a matter of where the team is at right now?
Well, it means a little something, because the Jaguars players in this locker room who have beaten the Colts and who beat them twice last year, they certainly believe and know that this is a team that they can beat. Does it matter in terms of Indianapolis's end? I think less, except as Mike Chappell, who I talked about the Colts every year, I go back with him 20 years, he knows the Colts. He said, look, streaks are streaks until they're not. So until the Colts break it, somewhere in their mind during the game, they're thinking, we don't win down here. So yeah, it helps. But guess what, Brian? Most streaks that have ever happened in the NFL aren't ongoing.
Right, no, yeah.
So at some point they end. And, 9 straight years, at some point this one's going to end. Let's hope it's not Sunday.
And, if you go back to the Colts were a better team when they rolled in here for the final game in 2021, a much better team. In fact, they were a playoff team if they just won the ball game, and they got beat by a team with an interim coach who had every reason just to sort of let it go, because they knew that everything was going to change the next year, and they didn't. So this really, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Who's better focused this week? Who comes down and can execute the game plan and not let the distractions of either being 0-4 or coming off a big win over the Steelers, or not having this player or having that player, who can execute the game plan?
Our final big thing today is going to be somebody. We talked a lot about who haven't been doing what they needed to do, but who can step up here, Brian? We've talked a lot about some of these players stepping in for other injured players. Who's that somebody that's going to make the play and make a difference?
Well, I really believe that Ventrell Miller showed us last week that he is capable of being a frontline player. We've been talking about interceptions or forced fumbles or fumbles recovered. I saw him in the preseason with some limited snaps, knock the ball free. I saw him as somebody who is a play maker. And I think he's a guy, just one game starting under his belt, but a guy who plays with such great intensity and speed that he could be that somebody that turns things around on Sunday.
Well, you need the quarterback to do it, and that'll be an ongoing story until it's not. Clearly, Brian Thomas Jr. has shown that he has the ability to make plays above the X's and O's. That's really right now what's kind of held the team back in a lot of ways. I don't know how many players they have right now who are showing they can do that. So I'll go on offense, Brian Thomas Jr. He has done it already, but he is perfectly capable and probably the most capable player on this team. Last 8 minutes of a game, when plays have to be made, special has to be special, he's got the capability of doing it, has shown a propensity to do it. He's going to get better and better at it. Maybe this is the week that he's on whatever the highlight shows are called now, but that he's the one people are talking about after the game. It's time he can do it. I think he will.
All right, stay with us here on Jags A.M. We're going to look forward to the rest of the week, what we think is going to happen in the game on Sunday.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jags fans, For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes have been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory, and go Jags. Today's show also brought to you by Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com.
This or that. This or that.
Welcome back into Jags A.M. We're going to talk a little bit about what we will see from the team against the Colts this week, and also a little bit about the Jaguars and what they just need to work on as a whole. Obviously, a lot to work on both sides of the football. We talked a little bit about Trevor Lawrence and where he's at, and we kind of expect a little bit more of him. Obviously, kind of in the funk right now as the whole team is, that they've gone 0-4. So first, this or that is a little bit about kind of getting Trevor out of that funk. When you're going forward, does that mean giving him the ball more, or does that mean kind of focusing on the run and taking a little bit of pressure off?
Ooh, that's a great question. Doug told us in his news conference that he'd probably give him the ball more. I mean, this is the quarterback. The whole framework of the future is built around him. The salary cap is tied to him. You need to work him through it. I mean, the run obviously helps, but I would say give him the ball more. Let's go and see if you can't dial it in.
Yeah, I think you have to, and even beyond philosophical, long-term stuff, this offense is really not set up to take the ball out of the quarterback's hands and just grind to be a physical offense. It can run, but I don't know that it's an offense that's going to run consistently. If the other team after the first quarter figures out, hey, all these guys want to do is run, this offense needs to have the threat of the pass to make that work. So, look, Trevor's the quarterback. There are weapons around him. It's built to be a balanced Doug Peterson type offense. I don't think you can all of a sudden turn into 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Delicate balance between the two. On the defensive side of the ball, we talked a little bit about the pass rush not getting home a ton this year. Josh Hines-Allen currently in the concussion protocol, so we don't know what his availability might be this week. So when you're looking at the pass rush, what are some things that they can do? Do you think they should try to blitz more, focus more on stunts, or just kind of do what they've been doing and try to keep that going? Do we have the answers? I know I'm asking questions that the coaches are getting paid to figure out, but
I thought the rush was better as the game went on Sunday. I think that's what makes some of these questions tough, because we're looking at it, 0-4 is bad and sort of panicky. They did a lot of things better on Sunday, that if they continue to do those things, they can get progressively better. Their problem, Brian, is they can't win 4 games on Sunday.
No, that's a problem.
So you're in this hole, and the key is really being patient and continuing to get better at these things and make those few plays at the end. In terms of the pass rush, I don't expect Ryan Nielsen to start blitzing with weird exotic blitzes. This team again was built for this front to win rushing 4.
Well, like where Robertson Harrison just did,
sure.
Right? That was a mismatch. Mm-hmm. Kenyon Green, the left guard, had 3 or 4 penalties, holding, offsides, and Roy got up in his head and just pushed him. I mean, just bull rushed him backwards.
Sack.
Yeah, big. Listen, they know strategy better than me, but I think I'd get Eric Armstead inside, especially if you have Josh. We'll find out about him and Trayvon on the outside, because he's just you see him. He's this massive man who had great success as an interior pass rusher when he was in San Francisco. And I would look for ways to put him back at his position of strength. I know they've been using him more in different techniques, but boy, he looks like an inside rusher to me. And put him and Roy next to each other and see if you can't find some mismatches on players that can't handle that size and length.
Yeah, with the pass rush, it truly feels, you had Ventrell Miller who has stepped up. You had Montero Brown who has stepped up. I don't know if there's a specific guy ready to step up on that level. Maybe Miles Cole. That's asking a lot of a rookie to give you a huge push as an edge pass rusher. The guys who are supposed to be the core of this thing have to get home.
I agree. Back to the offensive side of the ball, we saw some impressive runs from Tank Bigsby in that game versus the Texans. He only had 7 carries, but he had, of course, a couple of explosive plays there. Do you think this turns into a little more even carries between Etienne and Tank, or do you think Etienne should still be the main back for the team?
That's going to be tough. I think you're seeing the balance they want and Tank's effectiveness within that balance. I don't know yet if he is ready for a more full-time role in terms of doing everything that Travis can do in terms of pass protection, in terms of pass, being involved in the whole offense. I think the coach has done a nice job, Brian, of using Tank when he can be really effective, and he's maximized those opportunities. Do they want to steer toward Tank being in more and tipping that they want to go those directions? I don't know how far you can lean toward that yet, but boy, he's been effective when he's run.
Yeah, if your offensive line, especially the inside, is strong, I mean, you can play like the 67 Packers and almost go, we're going to run right here.
Yeah. But I don't know that's who they are yet.
No.
I
don't think so either. What I like about Tank is what we saw on the 22-yard run, right? Start inside, pop it outside. He is just to me, he's a more complete running back, right? I think he's more effective as an every down sort of running back. But he's not the athlete that Travis is. He's not the explosive playmaker that Travis is. And this team doesn't yet trust him like they do Travis. So his role, if he goes and has a couple more games like this, will continue to grow. He's just such a nice blend of size and power and speed. I'd like to see more of him, but I'm an old school kind of guy, and I like that kind of game.
And while we're on the subject, credit to him for coming back this year the way he has, and absolutely taking advantage of multiple opportunities and mattering in this offense. In a tough season, he's a success story so far.
Yeah.
Great attitude this season, absolutely. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about what's been going on around the AFC South.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. ZipChair is furniture for fans. Welcome back into Jags A.M. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the AFC South. We're not going to put salt in the wound because obviously we know what the records are at this situation, but the Titans did get their first win of the season last night on Monday Night Football. Battle of the backup quarterbacks, Titans and Dolphins. Will Levis kind of knocking himself out here with the shoulder injury as he tried to dive for the first down. Mason Rudolph came in, led the charge, and Titans got their first win of the season. That means the Jaguars are the only winless team in the NFL right now. Interesting to see. I haven't seen any reports about what the extent of Levis's injury is going to be, but interesting quarterback situations throughout the rest of the division besides C.J. Stroud pretty much.
Well, it feels, this was a game last night where right now the Titans backup is as good or better than their starter in a lot of ways, with the experience with the starter in Will Levis still developing. And then you played a Dolphins team that clearly is not as good without their starter, so that kind of tipped the balance. I think if the Jags had played the Dolphins without Tua, I think it's probably a different outcome. So my sense is that from watching it, I would think that if they want to win short term right now, they probably lean toward Rudolph. That seemed the feel, but that's just speculation from afar, Brian.
Yeah, I, to be honest with you, I didn't see the game, so I don't know that much about it. I know that if I was the only winless team in the NFL, I'd be very motivated this week.
I would hope so. Elsewhere, as for our opponent this week, Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback left the game. Joe Flacco came in, led the Colts to a win over the Steelers, who hadn't lost yet this season. And the Colts are always dangerous. I know there's that streak of them losing here in Jacksonville, but at this point, not sure if Anthony Richardson's going to play as a hip pointer, and they said it's not an extreme injury. They do expect he could possibly be available for the game, so it's either that or Joe Flacco, but those are two very different quarterbacks. And as we know, Joe Flacco beat this team last year when he was with the Browns.
Well, and he's very capable of doing that. He's very capable of reading defenses, distributing the ball. And look, the Colts come into this. If I'm the Colts, I look at this as I ought to be 3-2 after this. I mean, that's how they're thinking. They don't care about the past. They're playing a winless Jaguars team. They're 2-2. They believe that they're a team that's going to contend. They've got a quarterback that they have paid to play in this situation, meaning Flacco or Richardson. I do sense from some Jaguars fans that even though they're 0-4, they think this is like a little bit of a given because of the streak. I don't think anything's a given right now.
No, it isn't. And, what works in their favor is if Jonathan Taylor can't play, and he sustained a high ankle sprain last week in that win over the Steelers, and is questionable at this point. In fact, there was some talk in Indy about, would they need IR for him? So if he doesn't play, it changes the dynamic tremendously, because they've been waiting to get both Richardson and Jonathan Taylor together because both of them are so dynamic on their feet. I'm not sure if this defense is ready for that. But if you've got Flacco, it becomes a Josh Downs and Michael Pittman, both of whom are good receivers, and a quarterback who doesn't mind throwing the ball down the field.
Well, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow, I'm sure, but the Colts defense is a really good defense when they have all their guys. Right now, they're really beat up. So the Jaguars should be able to take advantage of that sort of a mismatch. But all those things we say should are hard to talk about when you're 0-4.
And this defense is potentially pretty beat up, too. I mean, no Foye Oluokun. We don't know the status of Josh Hines-Allen. And
Colts
Tyson
are
Campbell.
Down big time on their defensive line, which is what they're built around. That's where you ought to be able to have a little bit of an edge. But
yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If the Jaguars are going to win, they're going to need their quarterback to put up points.
Against this defense that's depleted, absolutely. We'll dive into that a little bit more on Thursday as we look at the exact matchup against the Colts. But stay with us here. We'll preview what we've got coming up the rest of the week.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Jags A.M. today brought to you in part by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
It's easy for us as coaches to criticize the negative. Even as reporters, it's easy to criticize the negative, right? It's hard to find the positive when things are bad. I mean, just kind of human nature. I personally try to find the good in everything. Because if I don't, then I'm always the Debbie Downer. I'm always the negative one. And I don't want to be the negative one. I will still hold them accountable. I will still hold my coaches accountable. I'll hold myself accountable. But at the same time, I better come Wednesday make them feel like they could run through that wall, right? That's my job. That's part of my job. So I don't necessarily back away. I don't necessarily have to raise my voice and yell and scream. But I think you can get your message across where they understand where you're coming from and what we need to do moving forward.
Focusing on the positives. Easy to be negative at 0-4, but we're going to focus on the positives this week. I'm going to be talking to Monteric Brown in my off-the-field segment. John, who are you speaking to this week?
I'm speaking with Ventrell Miller, and I think we're talking to the two players who are arguably the best two defensive players on the field on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to talking to Ventrell. Young guy, I haven't really gotten to know him very well yet, but he is a energetic guy, a positive guy, and everything you hear is that a guy who loves football and is really liking this opportunity despite the 0-4 start.
Brian, it's going to be a special day on Sunday with a lot of people in town to celebrate Tom Coughlin.
I spent time in each of the last few weeks with Tom, sitting and talking, and that's going to be released as a long-form podcast. I will also have a portion of it in pregame radio. He's grateful. Listen, he's got a high school stadium named after him.
Yep.
He's in the Giants Ring of Honor. At some point, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He's got Super Bowl rings, but this is a unique honor for him, and it's very special to him because, well, you'll have to listen and let him tell you why.
Absolutely, going to be a special day. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the show tomorrow and get you prepared for the game versus the Colts. See you tomorrow.